Could you secretly be sabotaging your own business growth and not even know it? That would really suck, wouldn't it? So I want to talk to you about 6 mistakes that I've seen many PR pros make as they are trying to build and grow their businesses that can mean the difference between total burnout and building a PR business that you're actually excited to run in the long term. Welcome back to the next episode of the Pitching Powerhouse podcast. I'm Jen. Thanks for joining me today. And let's just dive right into this topic because I want to see you avoid some of these mistakes and pitfalls. You might not even know you're making them, but it could change the trajectory of your business. So let's get right to it. Mistake number 1 I see so many PR pros make is not getting your legal ducks in a row. This is where you take some time up front to dot your I's, cross your T's, and get those contracts in place. That is your protection plan. And contracts are with your clients. Contracts can also be with your team members. If they're independent contractors or employees, you want to have contracts in place to protect both of you. And a contract, if you craft it, is probably going to be a little bit more weighted towards protecting you in the event of some kind of breach or issue that comes up. But it does also protect your team member or your client, depending on, which type of contract we're talking about. If you are serving a client without a contract in place, it is a huge mistake, massive mistake. This is where you get the opportunity to clearly outline the scope, the terms of the agreement. What are you going to do under this agreement for them? What are you not going to do? And any consequences that happen in the case of a breach of contract. And you can even set forth what a breach might even look like. It could be, something along the lines of a client not paying on time. You can have a clause in there that protects you from that and allows you to charge late fee, after a certain period of time. That can protect you in those instances. It is really a document that anticipates any potential pitfalls, things that could come up in the relationship, and sets forth what happens if these things do come up and what are the actions you can take to protect yourself. So you want to for sure hire a contract lawyer or use a template as a starting point. We have one in the Agency Accelerator, and I will say it is a phenomenal contract that will protect you as the agency owner because, of course, it's what I use in my own business, but it also includes 20 years of experience running a business and having stuff come up from time to time. And you're like, whoa, I did not expect that would happen. So let's put it in the agreement so that we understand how to handle a situation like this if it happens to arise again. And we share all of that in the Agency Accelerator because, I know that legal stuff is super boring. I used to be a lawyer, but this step is non-negotiable. So for agency owners that are on a budget and it sounds really daunting to hire a lawyer, and I know that attorneys are getting more and more expensive, whether they're charging you a flat rate or an hourly fee, we want to avoid some of that. And I will say here, while I did practice law, I am not your lawyer. So the contract is merely a template that I would advise you to take and review with your attorney. But it does include a lot of scenarios that will protect you in case something arises that you might not have anticipated. We have anticipated it and we put it in there for you. This is a non-negotiable step, and it also gives your client that sense of safety as well, because they understand clearly what the scope is, what you are agreeing to do for them, and they know that you're buttoned up and you're professional and you have implemented this agreement that protects both parties. And of course, independent contractor agreements and employment agreements, we have those templates in place as well. And that will protect you from things like, your client poaching an employee or them taking your trade secrets or your client list. All of the things that might arise when you are working with somebody else in your business, and you want to just make sure that everybody understands what is expected and what is acceptable and what will cause you to pursue legal action against them. So get your retainer agreements and your contractor and employee agreements signed and locked in place before you even start working together. And I would also recommend with a client getting your first month invoice paid as part of the kickoff process. Okay. Mistake number 2 is when PR pros treat media relationships like a transaction. I've said this time and time again that your media pros, any editors, journalists, freelancers, they are people. They are not just a path to placements for you and your clients. You want to treat them like collaborators, not a checklist. Okay. You want to support their work and show that this is a relationship that you're building. You want to become a go-to resource. You want to be the most frictionless, easiest to work with PR contact so that they want to work with you time and time again. So you want to follow up with them, ensure you're meeting deadlines, ensure that you're getting them what they need when they need it. You're adding value. You're not just asking for favors and pitching, always in this position of like taking in the relationship. You want to give, you want to offer any kind of support, value, and ease in working with you. So make sure you're following up on time, giving back the questions they asked of your clients before their deadline, hopefully well before, so that you are never seen as the squeaky wheel. You want to be frictionless. So prioritize those media relationships just like you prioritize the client ones. A big pitfall here is thinking that one great pitch would equal a lasting relationship, and it doesn't. It will open the door. It'll definitely help you start to build relationships. But the ones where you have trusted relationships with media contacts that are in your niche and they're the key decision makers, this is where you're showing up time and time again, even when you don't want anything from them. Maybe you see on social media that they're looking for a specific source or a certain type of contact, and you happen to know somebody in your network that would be a great fit for them. Offer that person up. Offer to make an introduction. It doesn't benefit you in any way, but it most certainly will help them see you as a collaborator and not somebody that views them as a checklist. Mistake number 3 is skipping PR education, skipping mentorship, and assuming that you've been doing this a long time, you know how this game works, and you're going to keep playing it like you always have. I'm here to tell you that PR is always evolving. If you've been doing this for any length of time, you know that things have changed and they're changing more rapidly than ever. It doesn't mean that it's getting worse. It doesn't mean that it is dying or any similar kind of, Chicken Little, the sky is falling type of outlook. It is definitely evolving, and your learning should not stop because you've been maybe doing this a long time, or you think you kind of know the way the tides are going. You should join programs, stay current with trends, join communities where you are connecting with other like-minded, savvy professionals that will give you tips every now and then that will help you level up your game. You want to grow your toolkit, and this is where having mentors and an ongoing commitment to growing your education in this industry and understanding the trends and the things that are really having an impact on the ability to land placements for your clients. It is part of the commitment to stay relevant in this industry, and mentors can help you avoid those mistakes that maybe they've already made or they've seen members of the community make. You're going to connect with other like-minded people and surround yourself with people who've done what you want to do and can help you out of a bind if you're kind of feeling a little bit stuck. I kind of sometimes picture members of our community when they're describing how they're really struggling to land placements, to build these relationships with journalists or close clients. they talk about just kind of like spinning their wheels. And I picture this scene where you have like a car stuck in the snow and the tire is not getting any traction and it's just spinning and spinning and spinning. And it's so frustrating. Or let's say in California, you're stuck in the mud, not in the snow, but it's where you're trying so hard and it feels like the more you're trying to do the same thing over and over again, just pushing on the gas and hoping that you get that traction, just ends up digging yourself into a deeper hole. That is like the clear visual that I see. So it's one of the reasons why we created our communities, our online community that's free, the Powerhouse Pros on Facebook, and my programs, the Agency Accelerator and the Pitch Lab. It is for this exact reason. I wanted to build a container, for all of the best PR pros that wanted to collaborate and support each other, to have a place to show up for one another. We can all make each other better. We can talk about what we're seeing in our own practices, share all of that so our community members can also benefit from our real life experience and what we're observing in the industry. So surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do and they're open and willing to share. And those are your people. We are your people. Mistake number 4 is waiting too long to hire a team. And I understand this is a big problem because this is what I did. I felt like, so I left law to start my agency, and I felt like I could not call myself quote unquote successful until I essentially replaced and exceeded my income that I made as a litigator. And so I felt like I had to hold on to every cent coming in to kind of justify that change in my career and show, I can still be successful in another career. And I had a mentor a long time ago say to me, less Jen equals more money. And I thought, well, I'm really struggling to, at that point, cross that 6-figure mark in my first year. And that to me meant, okay, I'm successful in this new business. And when he said that to me, it clicked that I could not do everything myself. I was on the fast track to burnout, and I was in a role where I was focusing in the business every day and just doing all of the day-to-day execution and serving all of the roles. And essentially, I might have justified not giving any money to bring in a team, even part-time. But when I backed into what I wanted to make and what my hourly rate would be, it really worked out to the fact that I was spending way more money in my time focusing on the tasks that were not moving the needle. I had to elevate my role to the CEO, the visionary of the company, and not focus on every bit of the day-to-day execution of my entire agency. And that is when I brought on a team member and we had quantum growth in our revenue, because I was able to focus on bringing in more clients and know confidently that we could execute on the work that we were bringing in. So start small and delegate the things that drain you. Delegate the things that are outside of your zone of genius. And I'm not saying you get to the point where you don't have any visibility or awareness to what these other people are doing. But so you want to have some kind of an understanding of these services that they're providing, so you know that you're actually getting value and that they're not taking advantage of, your ability to just offload things onto someone else and you're like, good, go do your thing. We have a process that we walk you through inside the Agency Accelerator that will help you decide what to delegate and help you find and hire and onboard your first team member, which is huge, because that's part of the challenge is like, am I going to find the right person or the right people that believe in my company and want to really exceed expectations the way that I do? Kind of feels like, well, nobody's going to do as good of a job as I am, so why would I let somebody else do it? That is the wrong mindset. Investing in a team is the way that you will grow your agency. It is not what happens after you grow. This is the thing that will allow you to do it. So think about the things that you dread, that suck the life out of you. Maybe it's monthly reporting or, creating those recap reports or clips or, crafting strategies for clients. Let somebody else come in and craft these things for you and you put your 10% spin on it at the end and you kind of zhuzh it and make it awesome. And then it goes out to the client. I'm at a point, and I have been for many years, where my team is all senior and I don't have to review everything before they send it to the client because they are that good and they are able to do things honestly better than I would do them anyway. So having that team in place, starting small and then building on the extra time and effort that I was freed up to grow the business is how I was able to grow my business after all. So look into that. Build your team even before you think you're ready. Mistake number 5, this is probably the biggest one people come into our agency accelerator wanting to tackle, is they are charging way less than the value they provide. So the mistake is charging less than you're worth. When you have low pricing, you think that you are going to attract more clients, but the opposite is actually true. You are going to attract bargain hunters, not dream clients. Undercharging is where you are really just being competitive on price. I want you competitive on your niche because you're able to show prospective clients that for the services in the industry that they're looking for, they are going to want you. You are the only logical choice because you are delivering phenomenal results for other clients. You can show that through case studies. When you have thin profit margins because you are competing on price, it makes it impossible to scale your business. So you cannot build a premium agency on discount pricing. It's not possible. This is a huge aspect of what we coach hard on inside the Agency Accelerator because I want you to confidently price and sell based on value, not fear that you're going to lose these opportunities because it's quote unquote too much. Instead, deliver results, show that ROI, show what you've done for other clients, and confidently price based on your value. That is how you build in margin to grow a healthy, profitable agency. Mistake number 6 is ignoring your client onboarding experience. We love a VIP experience. We love feeling like we are getting taken care of. We love a great first impression. It does not just stop at the proposal. When you have a seamless, easy onboarding process that just flows and it feels comforting to the client, that is where you start building trust immediately. When you don't have a clear process, clients kind of feel a little lost and uncertain. They're like, what's even happening? What are they doing? When is this all going to kick into action? You want them to feel taken care of right out of the gate. So a big action tip for you is building a simple, streamlined onboarding system before you kick off a campaign with a client. And this is going to come up over and over again in your business. So build it and iterate over time, and then it's just ready to go. You have a seamless, frictionless onboarding system where clients feel completely taken care of and like they made a great decision in working with you, and they know exactly what's happening and when in your process of working together because they know what to expect because you've laid it all out for them right out of the gate. This is something we focus on in the Agency Accelerator too, because we want to just give you something that's plug and play, an onboarding framework that you can implement in your business. We hand this to you so that you can set it up once and let that workflow flow for you, and clients feel really good about their decision to work together. So don't try to reinvent the wheel, crafting new emails, new requests, new onboarding processes, new onboarding questions with clients every single time. You want to have a seamless onboarding experience right out of the gate. Okay, so to kind of recap for you, we have legal protection and contracts in place for you. That's a non-negotiable. Strong relationships with your media contacts and your clients are your biggest assets. This is what is going to help you confidently pitch your services over and over again because you have built solid relationships with the key players in your niche, and that will benefit all the clients that come in to your roster. Charging your worth, hiring support, and onboarding seamlessly, having a phenomenal workflow. These are the key to sustainable success. Okay. So I hope that's helpful for you. Go out there and crush it this week. Kick ass, because I will be over here kicking ass too. And I can't wait to see you next week on my next episode. See you there. Bye.